You guys see my screen?
Yeah.
No? Sweet, bro. Okay. So like I was explaining before, I mean, if you guys don't know me, I don't know if you've been following me for a while or you haven't. My name's Huddy, 20-year-old from Australia, New South Wales, so roughly like Sydney area. Dropped out of school at 16 years old, worked construction for a good 3 years, came into the online space with like fucking zero experience, didn't know what I was doing at all. Just pretty much only knew my trade and didn't really know much else. And about 7 months ago, pretty much replaced my income. I can make, over 5 figures a month now, work remote, do things that I want to. My goal with content now is to help other people get into this and inspire people to, make a change and get into the online space, whether it's remote closing or whatever it else is. So that was me roughly 7 months ago, I would say. Now, today we're going to be talking about remote closing. I gave a bit of a debrief before. You're basically the middleman. So if I've got this guy up here, so I'm sure a lot of you guys have probably taken note of the amount of people that are selling a course or a mentorship or some sort of online service. It's very, very, very common at the moment. So this is a way to take advantage of it without needing to post content and needing to put your face out there, that sort of thing. So Nathan Nazareth here is actually a client that the sales agency that I work with has worked with themselves. Now, Nathan Nazareth has a drop shipping course slash mentorship that he sells. And I think it's roughly around $10,000. So it's a very good example. So what he basically does, he's got reels, content that he posts all the fucking time, hundreds of thousands of views, if not millions, coming to him. They reach out to him and they go, "Yo, bro, can I start?" And then those people that get booked in, they get put on a sales call, pretty much. Now, because Nathan, he's got nearly 1 million followers, he is unable to take all those sales calls. I'm sure he would love to if he could, but he's better off training people to take those calls for him, and he pays them out a commission. Now, on average, a remote closer will make anywhere between 10 to 20%, sorry, 10 to 20, 10 to 15% commission just from closing, say, a $10,000 deal. So that's pretty much $1,000 to $1,500 just from one sales call. Now, sales call can last anywhere between 30 minutes to 45 minutes, maybe an hour max. So you can pretty much make, say you closed someone for 10K, you could make $1,000 an hour. Well, that's pretty common, right? So you just need to learn how to actually get good at sales first. So this is just an example of someone that sells that. There's tons and tons of people out there. If you don't know, like, so this falls under the e-learning space. Um, just say, how much is it worth? E-learning space, right? It's prospected to be worth $1 trillion by 2032. So there's a lot of people selling online education now. Think about it in the next 5 to 7 years. It's going to be worth $1 trillion. So it's like only increasing. It's only going into more demand as well. And if we look back at COVID, back in what was that, 2020, when we started working remote, a lot of jobs went remote and people started to get that feel of being able to work at home and everything. Everything going digital as well. There are now going to be 92 million jobs becoming remote by 2030. And I think that number is probably going to increase as well. But my point is the demand for people that are good at sales, people that are remote closers, appointment setters, knowing marketing, knowing these skills are increasing. As you know, we've got 92 million jobs. That's a rise of 25% in the next 5 years. So it is almost stupid not to learn some sort of online high income skill because you could make 6 figures in your first year of learning this. Think about it in the next 5 years. A lot of people they go to uni or they go, do their apprenticeship for 5 years just to get qualified, and then still got to work their way up the ladder before they can start making 6 figures a year. If you get into sales, you get into marketing or learn some sort of online skill, you can start making 6 figures a year in your first year, 100%. Now, just to give you more of a proof of concept, if we go to where are we? over here. These are just some wins inside of ABC, which is the community that I went through, the training that I went through. You got guys in here that landed closing roll, 109,000 pounds per year. That's the on-target earnings, right? So that's a bit over $200,000 in Australian currency, right? I think that's 150,000 USD per year in his first year of learning closing, going through training. Your guy's making 7.5K in a single week closing. That's $30,000 a month. You got Cole here, Cole Wilson, took 5 calls. In 3.5 hours, he collected $650 USD from just 10% commissions. That's nearly $1,000 in 3.5 hours, right? That $1,000 a day like goal for most people, it's more achievable than you think. And this is without starting a business. This is just being a middleman, taking sales calls that go for 30 to 45 minutes, and you can make $1,000 in a day. This is another crazy example. 40,000 cash collected. That's 4,000 USD in a single day, just from that as well. That's like 6.5K Australian. Um, so yeah, I think like, oh, even here, 6K in a week. This guy used to be in construction. Like these guys are just random normal people. Construction, retail. I think he used to do DoorDash for a living. This guy used to come from a retail background as well. Like these are normal people getting these roles and in their first year, making $1,000 in a single day, which is most people's weekly income. So the potential is really endless. It's uncapped with most of these jobs. Today, I'm going to sort of walk through, not going through exactly how to become a closer because that would take hours, right? It takes quite a bit of training to become a gun closer, but I guess I want to show you guys the potential and also show you guys how you can land a role, what you need to look for, that sort of thing. So to begin with, what you want to get good at is obviously sales. Being good at sales is like the the main thing, right? To begin with, like you need to have good communication skills. So wherever you're at right now, obviously you have that basic communication skills, being able to talk to people. Um, you need to be better at that. You need to be able to have tonality behind when you're talking. You need to be, curious when you're asking questions to other people. You need to act like you actually care about a prospect because the whole goal with closing is not to be, force it down their throat and like I don't know if you guys seen Wolf of Wall Street, it's pretty famous movie, but just scamming people, taking advantage of people, trying to force it down their throat. Like the whole point of being a good salesperson is your prospect has come on this call with a problem and you're just there to solve it, right? Your goal is to pretty much guide them to the solution they need. So it's never, oh, this product is the best because XYZ, it's got the best features and it's going to last the longest and all that. The goal of being a good salesperson is, okay, what is your issue? Okay, you want to get out of your job and whatever it is, or you want a car with, say, this speed or, it has this sort of feature from the car. You want to ask what they're actually looking for first. That way you can best solve their problem and best come up with a solution for them, right? Because the best way to get someone over the line and actually convince them is getting them to say what they need and convincing themselves. Like if they said, "Oh, I want a car with this feature and that feature," and you say, "Well, we actually have that car, whatever," and they start talking themselves into it because they're like, "Oh, this is exactly what I'm looking for." When you drop price, whether it's, $20,000 for this car, because it's exactly what they need, why would they have an objection? You know what I mean? Whereas like most people, when say a prospect comes into a car dealership, a car salesman most of the time is like, oh no, you got to buy this car because of that feature and this feature and whatever. But just simply asking for a prospect's, issues and problems and what they're actually looking for, that way you can best actually suit them to the solution they're looking for. That way there's no sales resistance and the prospect always wants to feel heard. They never want to be told. That's a really big thing that I think most people get fucked up on is most salesmen are just telling them what they should do. Rather, you want them to tell you what they need so then you can guide them to the solution. Now, communication skills, massive one to get good at. Again, I would love to go through a really in-depth training, but that would take hours. But maybe on another session, we'll start running through more in depth on how to get started with all this. Now, objection handling is also a really big thing. I think in sales, the goal needs to always be pre-handling objections. So asking specific questions, so then that objection never comes up. So something that's very common in like the sales space is people that say, I need to think about it. The best way is always asking questions about their situation and always telling them or getting them to say why they need to make a decision today so that you have that ammo. So when that objection potentially comes up, you have that answer to when people are like, oh, I need to think about it. But this prospect has literally just said that he needs to start today because he gave a list of reasons why. He's been thinking about it for really long and he's been thinking about it for 2 years. Like he has to make a decision today, and you have that ammo, you have that, I suppose, way to actually handle that objection because you've understood the situation they've come through and you've asked specific questions to get them to say that, okay, fuck, I actually really need to do this today rather than tomorrow or next week or, a year from now. So, um, being able to actually pre-handle objections, but then also ask specific questions to counteract those objections that may come up or even pre-handle them before they even, have an opportunity to say that at the end, right? If you go through the framework properly, now what I use personally, I never use like a script. I think scripts are stupid because the whole sales situation, because it could be a call, it could be in-person conversation. You want it to be a conversation, right? It shouldn't be like a interrogation, or it shouldn't be, you know, again, like telling them what to do. It should be okay, prospect has this problem, we have this solution, and you guys come to an agreement. So asking questions and truly understanding where they're coming from, their situation, their problem. If you actually, as a salesperson, do understand and you show that you understand and you show that you actually care for the prospect, there shouldn't be any objections realistically. Um, so yeah, maybe in next week or the week after, we can go more into objection handling. But another thing that's very important is just sales psychology as well. Like actually understanding why someone would even buy something in the first place. Like for instance, I just bought, a new pair of AirPods today. Why do people buy AirPods over, say Beats by Dre or fucking Samsung or whatever it is? Like truly understanding why this over something else. Um, Emotions, the trust, the perceived value, again, the social proof as well. I think a really big reason why people buy Apple over so many other products or brands is because Apple is what everyone wears. So just understanding like truly like why people buy things and how you can make your offer or your service like those things. That makes sense. So number one thing is always going to be learning sales, right? You can't land a role without actually understanding sales. Now, this is obviously very, very brief. I recommend you guys go onto YouTube and go through some training, or what you can do is go through specific mentorship or guidance, which is what I personally went through. I really do recommend that. I tried to get started with remote sales on my own for a really long time, but it's hard. It's a lot harder. It takes a lot longer. I think going through mentorship and going through training is a way to get actual professional advice. It's like getting a PT at the gym, right? If you're brand new to the gym, it's hard to understand and grasp a concept of everything. Whereas like if you get a PT, you just speed track that whole process because they're going to give you a meal plan and a workout plan, and they're going to give you accountability and make sure you're showing up every day. So the whole process is a lot more streamlined than just trying to figure it out on your own. So my advice, get a mentorship. If you really don't want to invest in yourself and get a mentorship, just go through YouTube. It's really up to you. But I spent a good 6 months trying to figure it out on YouTube and didn't get a whole lot far. So that's just my recommendation. If you want, I suppose, more, knowledge or want to learn a little bit more about mentorship, you can hit me up. But looking for a role. So there's 4 different ways you can look for roles. Job boards are probably the best bet if you don't want to build some sort of personal brand. Now, my advice, I would say the easiest to get a role is through networking or direct outreach. So direct outreach being an example of, okay, here's Nathan Nazareth. Let me reach out to him and send him a message to see if he's looking for more remote closers. Now, the reason why personal branding is very, very useful is because I'm sure this guy probably gets reached out all the fucking time from people that also want remote close. Well, he wants remote closes, but people that can also remote close. So having a personal brand is going to make you stick out more, right? Because you got some sort of following. People say nowadays, like having a personal brand is like having a digital resume. It's like the resume of these days. Um, so having a personal brand is going to propel you a lot forward and make you be seen more because of just how Instagram works, being verified and everything. But reaching out to these guys is a pretty good bet to actually landing a role. Networking as well. So once you build a personal brand, people are going to come across your content and see, oh shit, like this guy is posting content and he's looking for online work or he has got remote closing experience. These guys are going to reach out to you, which was how I actually got my first appointment setting role. Was I was just posting content and someone reached out to me and was like, yo, bro, I would love to give you a job. And I started making $1,000 a week and I was able to replace my income in, literally a week. So, I mean, that's how I personally got my role, just through networking and just knowing people. Sales agencies as well is another way you can just reach out to people. I don't have any examples out right now, but it'd be similar to Instagram. There's sales agencies out there that are also looking for people. So reaching out to them, or going on, fuck, what's that website? It will come back to me. I'll show it to you guys in a sec. But sales agencies, Instagram's your best bet. And then job boards. That's probably the easiest when you don't have a personal brand. Going on Seek, going on some sort of like job seeking app or website, like Seek, like Indeed. I'm sure, and Seek's more of an Australian thing, but Indeed's I'm pretty sure pretty known everywhere. So looking on here now, if you just have a quick glance, this is Australian, but remote appointment setters and closers. So you could get a role, and this is only posted 8 days ago. That's paying you 80 to 100K a year in your first year. So the potential is there. This as well, 80 to 100K base. So your base is going to be $100,000, and on target earnings, that's what OTE means. That's 250 to $350,000 a year. And what are you selling here? Property, right? Like the potential is really there. 60K base, like there's just tons out there. Same with the remote. So this is more like your job boards. They always post new ones on here. So yeah, always keeping in touch with that and just looking at that. I actually had a friend the other day. I should have put it up here. I did an interview if you guys didn't see it with a guy that I put onto ABC about 5 weeks ago, and he landed himself a appointment setting role with a solar company in Australia, and the on target earnings is like 5K a week just as an appointment setter. So like that's only after 5 weeks of just training and actually just understanding the whole concept of appointment setting. 5K in a week, and he's leaving his trade job. So it does not take long to actually understand this. Not 5 years of being qualified of, doing a trade or going to university. Like if you genuinely go through the right training, where am I at? If you go through the right training, you can land roles like this, 100K a year. So the potential is there. So that's pretty much it. Like if you don't want to do personal branding or at least set up your account to look up to standard, I'll give you an example of this guy. This is someone that also went through the ABC training. This is one of my friends. He's a remote closer from Australia. He makes about 15 to 20K a month just closing. And this is his account. Like it just looks professional. His name is clear. His profile picture is also clearly his face. And he's just got posts, just so he looks like a real person. It's as simple as that. So if you don't have a personal brand, you're not posting content, at least make your account look professional. Make sure it's a clear profile picture. Make sure it's clearly your name. Make sure there's posts on there so you look like a real human being. And once again, you stand out more in comparison to, you'll be surprised how many people that don't have like an Instagram actually properly set up and yeah, look like a real person. So, keeping that in mind as well is just, if you don't want to post content, fair enough. I didn't really want to do it either to begin with, but just at least setting up your Instagram so it looks good. So where am I at? Job boards, Seek and Indeed, sales agency, I still haven't thought of it yet, but Instagram, direct outreach, also Instagram, and just networking as well. Just knowing people is a really big thing. I think if you can know someone in the space, that's probably the easiest way to land a role. Now, here's the thing. You can land a role, but there's a difference between obviously having a good role and a bad role, a good offer and a bad offer, right? Your good offer is going to have high ticket pricing. High ticket means basically anything over, I would say $2,000 roughly. That would be considered as a high ticket product or service. Now, the reason you want it to be high ticket is because it takes less sales to make, say, 10K a month. I was explaining this to some of the guys that were in here a little bit earlier, but you can sell your low ticket stuff like digital dropshipping. Maybe you guys have heard that before. Um, you can sell a product for like 50 bucks a pop, but it takes a lot more sales to sell, $50 a pop, in opposed to selling something that's worth $2,000 and you only have to sell it 5 times to make 10K a month, if that makes sense to you guys. So I would say high ticket is what you want to be in. It's like I was doing digital dropshipping. I was also doing normal dropshipping on its own, and it took a lot longer and a lot more sales to make 10K a month. Once I made the switch to high ticket stuff, took me 5 sales or even less just to make 10K a month. Like heaps easier. All you got to do is just learn how to sell or learn how to market, and you can make that 10K a month profit so much quicker. So that's just a personal preference from me. Obviously, you can make 10K a month with low ticket stuff, but I would consider it's a bad offer if you're only selling stuff below, $2,000. Inbound leads as well. You may not know, or maybe you do know, the difference between inbound and outbound is inbound is leads coming through. So maybe the company you're working for has leads that are always coming through. So just booked calls on your calendar. So your job is literally just to take the calls that are already booked in. Whereas like outbound means that you need to go reach out for these prospects. You need to go chase those leads and actually create the leads and then jump on the call with them. So inbound leads is always going to be better because inbound means that they're actually a warm lead. That means they're actually already keen and they've shown interest in the product or service. So then when you jump on the call, you already have that authority because they've shown interest in the product or service. So now you're just understanding why they were interested in the first place. Whereas if you're doing outbound, you've got to reach out to that person and get them interested in your product. Now, when you hop on the sales call, you're still trying to convince them, if that makes sense. So you build more authority, you can close more, and you spend more time actually doing the task that makes you money when you focus on just inbound leads. Now, the last thing is having a proven system. So you want to make sure that the company or the offer that you work with has testimonials, has wins, has actual proof of it working. That's the main thing. Like if it is a system that does not work and they're selling this super high ticket price and they've got no proof of concept, then why would you work with it? Like you've got like something that's so important is having a proven system. So then you actually build conviction on your calls. Because if you're selling something that you don't actually believe in and you've never seen someone win in before, you're not going to perform because you're like, oh fuck, like does this even work? Like, am I scamming people when I'm selling people? So make sure it's a proven system. Once it is a proven system, you again will just sell more. Like you'll have obviously conviction, but wait, this guy, I'm scared of what this guy's gonna say. Um, yeah, once you have a proven system, you'll be able to sell more as well. You'll build conviction, and then because that company or that offer has testimonials, you can send those testimonials to future prospects. They can see that, they can build a lot more trust with the company, and therefore, once again, close more deals. So those are the three things I think that matter the most. If they don't have the key three things, I would just keep looking for a role because you need to understand your value as well and what you actually bring to the marketplace. Like, don't waste time doing some really shit fucking role and you got to do all this outbound and you're selling something that doesn't even work. This guy's gonna say something. Sorry, I just don't want the thing to happen like last time. Um, so yeah, make sure it works. Don't sell something that's also low ticket and it's just dog shit. And yeah, that's pretty much the big thing there. Now, to cap it off, like when you're looking for, say you're doing outreach, for instance, if we go back to Nathan Nazareth and you're reaching out to this prospect, I would really recommend going on ChatGPT and just putting in a simple prompt like, can you give me a list of, 10 cold outreach DMs that I can send to 10 creators that have, an offer of some sort. And just using this, right? You want to switch it up. If you're doing outreach and you're genuinely looking for a role, like someone like this, what I would do is I think it's a numbers game. If you do 100 people that you reach out to, expect 10% to actually answer. So you're going to get a good 10 responses. Obviously, the more you do, the more responses you get, the more opportunities you potentially land a role. But make sure you have a actual good outreach DM, something that's catches their attention, something that actually shows that you're going to be of value to their company. So saying like, oh, okay, look, like I see your content's actually doing really well. You're probably bringing in a lot of leads. How are you actually going about converting those leads? Are you closing them? Are you bringing, money to your company? That sort of thing. Asking them a genuine question and saying how you can help. Oh, I've been a remote closer for XYZ amount of time. I've closed this amount of money. I can help you, do whatever. Close more deals for your company. So make sure you're sending a DM that catches their attention, ask them a genuine question, and just simply talk about how you can actually provide value to their business. That's it. And I promise, like if you do 100 a day on a consistent basis, it is damn near impossible not to land a role. I think the biggest thing with people not landing a role is that they're just inconsistent with it. That's it. They just don't give a fuck. They're just lazy. Oh, I've already done, I did 100 last week and I didn't get anything, so I'm just not going to try. Like you got to be consistent with it. It's simply a numbers game. Um, Something to take note as well is that I know we sort of talked about how remote closers they work because Nathan, for instance, can't take all of his sales calls. It's the exact same with appointment setters, if you know what that is. Appointment setter is pretty much all those people that come across his content and they're interested and come across his brand and they hit message. They are not answered by him himself. He has hired appointment setters. So appointment setter, their whole role is literally just to get them booked in with an appointment, and then that's where the closer steps in and closes that booked appointment, collects money, right? So point is that Nathan doesn't answer his DMs, so there is appointment setters actually answering them. So an issue you might run into is that you send, say, one of these cold outreach DMs, and the appointment setter sees that. Maybe he doesn't want you to work with his company because you're stealing a role that he might want, right? So what you need to do, and if you have to do it, what you do is you message, you type in and you show that you're actually interested, book in a call with, say it's Nathan or, the closer. Hopefully it is Nathan. And then you actually sell yourself on that call. What a good thing to do is you look at the whole conversation, the whole appointment set, and you pick out all the ways that the appointments that are actually got it wrong. So then when you hop on a call with, say, Nathan, you can point out all the ways you went wrong and all the ways you would actually improve his business. So I would say that's probably one of the best ways to land a role because that way you can actually talk to the business owner specifically. Like personally, I should say. Um, so keep that in mind as well. And that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. Not a super long one. I want to go more into depth with you guys with remote closing. It's just gonna take yeah, it's gonna take a few sessions. I'd have to do each piece of framework, um, yeah, for each session if we're gonna not go over like 1 hour. So, what I'm gonna do eventually is put out like a full like 3 to 4 hour, free course for you guys on my YouTube. So definitely recommend just like drop me a sub on YouTube. I'm gonna post this on YouTube as well and hopefully you guys can learn a lot more there. For the meantime, definitely go on YouTube, look up some sort of like sales framework. If you guys know who Alex Hormozy is, if you look up Alex Hormozy's sales framework, that's probably one of the best ones that I've seen that's completely free. I'd recommend going through that and watching that. Um, but I'm going to be dropping one very, very shortly. Now, that's pretty much it. I'm going to run you guys through probably more in depth of remote closing next week. So I'm going to run these probably every Wednesday or Thursday, and we can go from there. But how's everyone feeling? Any of you guys have questions or anything that maybe I could answer for you guys? Did it all make sense? Let me know. I know only one of you guys have cameras on, but yeah. Any questions or? It's an opportunity to ask me anything about business, life, um, what we just talked about, remote closing, how to get started with anything you guys are stuck on. No questions, Nathan?
Um, so I was wondering,
Yo,
because I'm about like 15 kind of thing.
yo.
What would like be a good spot for me to start in with like online business?
So are you still in high school right now, bro?
Yeah.
And I guess what makes you want to get into the online stuff?
Well, just I don't know. I see a bunch of people. They seem to be getting it pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, it seems like a good way to go for like a long run kind of thing. Like,
Mhm.
your 5 years of freedom, 50 years hard work,
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
like 5 years hard work, 50 years
Yeah.
freedom, that kind of situation.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just thought it might be easier, good way to reach out to more people as well.
Yeah. Not 100%. So you're 15 years old, you're still in high school, you're working at the moment? Like, do you have a job or anything?
I've had a few here and there, but currently not really, no.
Okay. My biggest recommendation, bro, is you're 15. Now, obviously, yeah, you haven't even finished high school. So I would recommend to finish high school or at least work a job. Only because whenever you start a business, there's always some sort of initial startup cost. So if that
Mm.
is the plan, you're gonna have to have some money in your back pocket regardless.
Yeah.
Right? So, um, being in your situation, you're still young. If you feel like you have extra time to put into other stuff, I really do recommend just researching, man. Like, look up some free resources. I really do recommend watching like Alex Hormozy or something and starting to learn just the basics of everything because you don't have any money to invest in any knowledge or training or anything. So, I would say YouTube is your best friend for now, and just actually get good at a skill. I think sales is probably the easiest to start with, and you can get good on sales just from YouTube, 100%. But right now, like most likely, there isn't going to be a company that'll hire you at 15 years old to actually work as a salesperson for them. It'd be pretty
Mm.
rare.
Yeah.
And it's not like you can start a business or anything because you don't have, I'm assuming you don't have really any funds to start up with, right?
Maybe a few hundred, but no, not really.
Yeah. Dude, I'd recommend you 15, and it's really good to hear that you're thinking early. Like that is really good to hear, bro. I think you'll be a
Hmm.
killer one day for sure. But just save up some money, pick up a job, and just start building up those skills and building up that knowledge from YouTube, right? It
All right.
doesn't have to be sales. It could be video editing. It could be fucking, getting good at just posting content, or it really could be anything, bro. Just
Mm.
get good at something in particular. Don't be one of those people that like jumps from business model to business model because those people never get anywhere because their focus is never on one thing.
All
So,
right.
does that make sense, bro?
Yeah, yeah, totally.
100%. Does anyone else have any questions or anything? Or we're all sweet? You all good, Abby? Pretty clear with everything?
Yeah, it looks like everything was pretty like yeah, pretty educational and everything you said. So yeah, pretty good.
Sweet.
You
Sweet
ready
as.
ready for the next one? I'll be here as well to just see how we go.
Awesome. Cool. I'm glad to have you, bro. I'm glad all you guys showed up. Only one camera on though, but it's all good. Next week I'll run another one, probably on actually how to start becoming a remote closer. This is more how to find a job, how to find a role. I'll probably go more in depth on how to actually become one. Now, this is going to take a few sessions to get good at because if I just did one, it'd take fucking several hours. But next week, depends on what you guys think. I'll probably put up a poll on my Instagram and sort of ask you guys what you guys want to see. But that's probably what's on the agenda for now. But yeah, thank you guys for coming through and watching, and God bless.
No,
If you're like interested in anything to do with sales or anything, have any questions, just shoot me a DM as well. My DMs are open.
no worries, man. Thanks, bro.
All good. God bless everyone. See you guys
Yeah,
next week.
thank you.
See ya.